Let's go through a few over and unders. Always a fun segment here as we begin our year. Alana's going to have a couple for you, too, and she'll comment on some of mine. Let me do you from a BetMGM thing. Think for a second about over-unders. When you play over-unders, this is just advice, always think about the team you're playing because trading deadline can kill you. All right, so for instance, if you take a bad team, which makes sense with an over-under, say you take the Pirates. All right, who are what, about 65.5? Well, I'm not taking them. But say you take them, you could take them, but they might trade 4 guys. They're not going to add guys. They might trade 4 guys in July and you're dead. I mean, so you have to be very, very, you take Kansas City. They might trade a couple guys. So you have to be very, very careful. Always think about taking teams that might add players necessarily and trading off players. That's something that you think about as far as playing these games are concerned. All right, let's start. I'll give you the 4 overs first. Now, this kind of hurts me because of what I just told you, but I like the Cubs at over 76.5. First off, they're not in a good division. You know, I know it's less games, but they get 26 cracks at the Pirates and the Reds, and that's a lot of games. That's a plus. They got a lot of players on their team who have something to prove. Bellinger's got something to prove. Hosmer's got something to prove. Mancini's got something to prove. A couple of those pitchers got something to prove. I like that very, very much. Love the manager. Like the way they finished last year. And they say that the Cubs can't go 78 and 84. Really? The Cubs? That lineup isn't terrible. Again, they don't have an ace. They don't have a great player, but they got some good players, and I think they got a little edge, little spring to their step. They finished the season very, very good last year, as I just mentioned. I'm going to play the Cubs over 76.5. Division helps me here. Not a great division, and I know it's balanced schedule this year, but again, even Milwaukee's not that great. I'll play Cubs over 76.5. That is team number 1. I debated about not doing this because this is a trendy team, and Alana and I have been discussing them a lot in the last 10 days. And, you know, they have done nothing. For all their swagger, they have done absolutely nothing in the when you think about it, the last couple of years. But I'll go out on a limb, and I'll take Toronto over 90.5. I mean, you know, last year they won around 90. They won about 92 games. The year before that, they were right around 90. They brought in Belt, helped them a lot. They have some pitching where you might come back. They got themselves a good defensive outfielder now, of course, in left with the trade with Arizona. You got Guerrero and Bichette. Springer moves to right. Kiermaier plays center. You know, division's tough, but less games in that division. Maybe that helps them a little bit. They open up in St. Louis. I think the Blue Jays, I don't know if there's a real weakness on the Blue Jays. They got a pretty good offense. They got pretty good starting pitching. Romero in the bullpen is not bad. You know, they should have a little edge to them based on the Seattle series last year where they collapsed at home. I'll go Blue Jays, and they play the Yankees pretty well. I'll play the Blue Jays. I'll go over. I go over 90.5. That's team 2. Team 3, I'm going to base this one on market correction, and I'm also going to base this on division. They got a lot of cracks at Kansas City and Detroit. I'm going to play the White Sox. I'm going to go shite down here. I'm going to play the White Sox over 82.5. Again, not a ton of weaknesses here. Decent pitching staff. Is it great? No, but a pretty decent pitching staff. Enough young players, and they should be healthy. They get a little jump from a new manager there who, you know, everybody says he's, you know, got a great background, great pedigree. We'll have to wait and see on that, Grifol. But, I mean, Anderson should be healthy. Vaughn at first base. Benintendi's a good player. He sticks out in left field. Robert and Jimenez, maybe they play more than 50 games. Moncada, I'll go division, not great. Even the top teams aren't that good. I think that's a safe bet. You know, they won 81 last year, and they got no breaks at all with the schedule. Worried about their bullpen a little bit with Hendricks. But I will go over 82.5 with the White Sox. That's team 3. I'll probably steal one from our partner here, but I will take Texas 81.5. And I'm going to take Texas really because I think they'd be a fun team to root for. Sometimes when you play these over-unders, you got to take a team that you want to watch every night. You want to watch them. I don't want to be nasty, but do you want to watch the Marlins every night? Be fair. You want to watch the Nationals every night at 59.5? Be fair. Texas with Bochy, Texas with DeGrom, and he's obviously starting opening day. Good middle infield, brought Evaldi in, new ballpark, something to prove. It's about time. They have money. They won't trade anybody off. Good GM. 82 is not a ton. They get a lot of games with Oakland. Who knows on the Angels? Who knows on the Angels? Seattle should be pretty good. Houston maybe not great as right out of the gate. I'll go Texas over 80 with 1.5 in the American League West. I'm going to take 2 unders for you. And I'm going to surprise you with the unders. I'm going to go under Astros 97.5. You know, no McCullers for a while, no Verlander. Brantley not going to be ready. Who knows on Alvarez? Altuve for 2 months. You know, they got to have a little hangover after winning a World Series last year. I can see them getting off to a slow start. And remember, folks, 97.5. 96 and 66 is a hell of a season. You take 97.5, you win. They can still be very good, near great, and you can still win your play here. 97.5. I'll do that. I'll take under Houston. And you don't make a lot of money betting against the Astros, but I'll go under Houston. Then finally, listen, I think they're a little overrated. I'm going to take under Phillies. It's 89.5. They got the Mets and the Braves. They got a million injuries. No Harper. Hoskins is out for the year. One of their starting pitchers is out. You know, last year they had a managerial change, and they still only won 87 games. You know, the Phillies last year, everybody thinks, well, they had a great year. They won 87 games. You'd win by 3 games if you took them at 89.5. I'm not sure if the Phillies are a 90-win team. The weird about the Phillies, I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're a 90-win team. With the extra playoff team in both leagues, you can get there with a lot less wins. The Phillies proved that last year. A lot of upheaval with the Phillies. And yes, Trey Turner's great, I understand that. But a lot of upheaval with the Phillies. If nothing else, some injuries, even with their starting rotation. Nola hasn't signed it. You know, Nola's not going to sign a contract extension. Maybe he presses a little bit. I will go under Philadelphia at 89.5. Astros and Phillies are the unders. Cubs, Blue Jays, White Sox, and Texas are the overs.